History is often told through the lens of textbooks, speeches, and monuments. But what we usually read is only a fraction of the truth. Beneath the surface lies another America, an America filled with secrets, forgotten stories, and hidden events that shaped the nation in ways most people have never heard about. Today we're uncovering 10 hidden facts about U.S. history that will completely change the way you think about America. 1. The Liberty Bell's first ring was a failure. The Liberty Bell is one of America's most cherished symbols of freedom. But here's the hidden truth. The very first time the bell was rung in 1752, it cracked. Imagine that. America's symbol of liberty literally broke the first time it tried to speak. Instead of being replaced, the bell was recast twice. Each time, the makers tried to fix its flawed tone, but the imperfections never went away. Today, people look at the crack as a symbol of America itself, imperfect but enduring. What most don't realize is that the Liberty Bell became famous long after the Revolution, when abolitionists used it as a symbol to fight against slavery. The bell's history was hidden in plain sight until it was revived as a rallying cry for freedom. 2. Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey as the national bird. The bald eagle is majestic, powerful, and fierce. But Benjamin Franklin thought it was a terrible choice. He argued the eagle was a bird of bad moral character, a scavenger that stole food from other animals. Franklin instead proposed the turkey as the national bird, calling it more respectable and a true native of America. This debate never became public until Franklin's private letter mentioning the turkey resurfaced many years later. Imagine if Franklin had his way. Every U.S. coin, military badge, and national symbol might have a turkey instead of an eagle. It's a quirky hidden fact that shows how close America came to having a very different symbol of pride. 3. The White House wasn't always white. When you picture the White House, you think of its iconic bright white walls. But here's the hidden truth. It wasn't always that way. During the War of 1812, British troops invaded Washington, D.C. and set fire to the presidential mansion. The charred walls were left blackened and scarred. To cover up the burn marks, the entire building was painted white. At first, it was simply called the President's House, but after the fire, the nickname White House caught on and eventually became official. A tragedy turned into tradition, and today, few people realize the famous name came from destruction and ashes. 4. The U.S. once planned to use bat bombs in W.P. World War II brought out some of the strangest ideas in military history, and one of the strangest belonged to the U.S. military: bat bombs. The plan was to attach tiny firebombs to thousands of bats and release them over Japanese cities. The bats would roost in wooden buildings, and the timed explosives would ignite devastating fires. Tests were even carried out in New Mexico, where fake towns were built to see how effective the idea was. The experiment actually worked. Whole test towns burned down. But the project was abandoned in favor of the atomic bomb. The story remained hidden for years, proof that history is sometimes stranger than science fiction. 5. A teenage girl sparked the civil rights movement before Rosa Parks. Everyone knows Rosa Parks, the woman who refused to give up her seat on a bus in 1955. But few people know about Claudette Colvin, a 15-year-old African-American girl who did the exact same thing 9 months earlier. She was arrested for refusing to move, sparking local outrage. So why don't we hear her name as often as Rosa Parks? Civil rights leaders thought Claudette, being young and from a working-class background, wouldn't attract the same national attention. Instead, they strategically waited for the right moment, and that moment came with Rosa Parks. Colvin's story was hidden for decades, but she was a pioneer of courage before the movement officially began. 6. The Statue of Liberty was originally meant for Egypt. The Statue of Liberty is one of America's greatest symbols, but here's the hidden fact. She was never meant to stand in New York Harbor. French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi originally designed her as a lighthouse for Egypt, to stand at the entrance of the Suez Canal. When the Egyptian government couldn't fund the project, Bartholdi reworked the design and offered it to the United States as a gift of friendship. So the Statue of Liberty, the mother of exiles, was once meant to stand in the deserts of North Africa. History could have been very different. 7. The U.S. government secretly built a hidden city in Waiwitu. During World War II, secrecy was everything. The United States built an entire hidden city in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, as part of the Manhattan Project. More than 75,000 people lived and worked there, but most of them had no idea what they were building. The city didn't even appear on maps. Workers thought they were just helping the war effort, but in reality they were enriching uranium for the world's first atomic bomb. It wasn't until Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed that the people of Oak Ridge learned the true purpose of their work. Imagine living in a city where even your job was a mystery. Ate the U.S., bought Alaska for pennies, and people laughed. In 1867, the United States bought Alaska from Russia for just $7, $2 million, less than 2 cents per acre. At the time, newspapers mocked it as Seward's folly, calling it a frozen wasteland with no value. People thought it was the dumbest purchase in American history. But that hidden folly turned out to be one of the greatest deals ever made. Alaska is rich in oil, gold, timber, and natural beauty. Today it's considered a jewel of America, worth hundreds of billions of dollars in resources. What was once seen as a mistake became one of America's smartest moves. 9. The Great Emu War. Yes, America considered bird battles too. This one is hilarious but true. While the Emu War actually happened in Australia, few Americans know that U.S. officials once considered animal-based warfare, including pigeon-guided missiles and the bat bombs we already mentioned. In fact, during World War II, psychologist B.F. Skinner trained pigeons to guide bombs by pecking at images of targets. The project was real, government-funded, and nearly deployed. Although it sounds ridiculous now, the pigeon bombs were surprisingly accurate in tests. The idea was eventually scrapped, but it proves that even the U.S. military once relied on animals to fight wars. 10. The longest U.S. war isn't what you think. When people think of America's longest war, they usually say Afghanistan, which lasted 20 years. But technically the longest ongoing U.S. conflict is the Korean War, because it never officially ended. In 1953, the U.S., in North Korea and South Korea signed an armistice, not a peace treaty. That means on paper the U.S. is still at war with North Korea. For decades, this hidden fact has shaped international politics. Even today, tensions remain high on the Korean peninsula. So while Afghanistan may have been the longest declared war, the Korean War is America's longest undeclared, unfinished war. From cracked bells and turkey debates to hidden cities and unfinished wars, these 10 hidden facts about U.S. history reveal a side of America that textbooks rarely show. They remind us that history isn't just about dates and names. It's about secrets, decisions, and strange twists that change the world forever. Which of these facts shocked you the most? Was it the bat bombs, the White House fire, or the secret city in Oak Ridge? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love uncovering the hidden side of history, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe for more untold stories from the past. The more we learn about history, the more we realize that the truth is always stranger than